is a segment I call In Other News, which is news outside of DC in Hollywood that I find interesting. And we finally have an update on the long in development Mike Tyson project involving Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is set to play Mike Tyson in a biopic of some sorts, and we now have some news. The Mike Tyson biopic will be a miniseries spanning his entire life. Jamie Foxx will play Mike Tyson, with Martin Scorsese executive producing and Antoine Fuqua directing the miniseries. Now, here's something interesting. For a while, Terrence Winter was attached to write this, but he is not involved. Colin Preston, who has no writing credits that I could find on IMDb, has written the pilot and will write the series. Apparently, he impressed Jamie Foxx, Martin Scorsese, and Antoine Fuqua, so he has been given the writing duties to pen the miniseries. It will be an authorized project with Tyson collaborating as an executive producer. An authorized project means he has final say on where they can go with the story as far as his personal life. So there's a little bit of hesitation there, but with a guy like Martin Scorsese on board, you got to think that, they would touch on that more than, just an acknowledgement of sorts. So you have all this information: Antoine Fuqua, Martin Scorsese, Jamie Foxx miniseries, Colin Preston writing with no credits to his name. What do you think, Keith?
I'm in. I'm good. Listen, you give me Scorsese, who is one of my top 2 or 3 directors of all time. You give me Antoine Fuqua, who is one of my favorite directors also as well. I love Antoine Fuqua. He's such an underrated director. He's one of those guys that, and obviously he's producing, but he's one of those guys that he's kind of like F. Gary Gray, where he's got a bunch of movies that people really like. No one really talks about him that much, but he's got some that no one saw, but they weren't huge hits. But he also has some that were huge hits. Obviously, he directed Training Day,
The Equalizer.
He did that. He
did Tears of the Sun.
Which I like. I think it's fine. I know a lot of people kind of kick that movie a little bit, but he did the one with Clive Owen.
He did King Arthur. Really?
King Arthur. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he directed that. So he's got a lot of credits, man. He did Magnificent Seven. He did Magnificent Seven, the new remake of that, which I thought was really good. So that right there, and then obviously Jamie Foxx, who is just magnificent. We've seen he can take a role, and I've heard his name tied to being Mike Tyson for a while. Yeah. So it's good to see this finally getting some traction. I wonder how much of it will be based on his one-man show, which I think maybe is on HBO. Maybe it
was on Broadway.
But I think there was a filmed version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they recorded one of them. I think it's on HBO. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, which is really good. It's really, really good. And I wonder how much of it will be based on this, or based on that rather. But it's a very he's got quite a story.
Yeah, enlighten us, because I'm a 90s baby, okay? Like, I was 6 years old when I think he fought Lennox Lewis, so...
Oh, goodness gracious.
No, I take that back. I was like 9 years old, but still, I was a young guy. So, how controversial was his life?
It was very rough life, very hard upbringing. I think he grew up in Brooklyn, mostly on his own, till the trainer... Man, I can't think of his name.
Customato.
Yes. Found him. He made his name in the junior levels, and then I think he really made his name in the Olympics in 80...
Late 80s.
Yeah, whatever year. Mid to late 80s. And just the way he beat people was no one had ever really seen that. You just walking in and just boom,
The
boom, 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 boom.
power, yeah.
Power, the speed, like you really hadn't seen that, especially from a guy so young.
I read that he adapted a peekaboo style where he's just like
Sure.
like this and
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. But it's one of those things too, though, and what he kind of got exposed a little bit in the Buster Douglas, the infamous Buster Douglas fight.
Yeah.
Which I would love to see how that gets covered in this film. But if you get him past a certain point, maybe if you get him past 5 rounds, you can probably take him, and that's exactly what happened. If you can just stay away from him, get him tired, and just late round, that's how he got knocked out. You just didn't see it coming. And but the boxing stuff aside, and I'm a big boxing movie, TV show fan. It's one of my favorite genres in subgenre within sports. The boxing movies are probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And this will be a fascinating story to tell. I can't wait to see. From Jamie Foxx, like what he did was Ray, like he became Ray Charles, right? Like, so it won't just be like an impersonation of Mike Tyson, because he used to do that on In Living Color. He used to do it with Mike Tyson. But this will what he'll actually really be him. And it's just fascinating. And Scorsese attached as well. Like I'm very, very interested, man. I can't wait to see what comes of this.
Oh, this has Emmys written all over it.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be a movie, a feature film, because at first, when we first heard about this, it was Jamie Foxx in the role, Martin Scorsese directing, with Terrence Winter as the writer, who did The Wolf of Wall Street and Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
I'm still excited about it. I know Jamie Foxx is going to be great as Mike Tyson, but what kind of biopic will this be? Will this be a Bohemian Rhapsody-esque, where it's like a very colorful, it doesn't get too much into the darker, moments of Freddie Mercury's life. That's what Sacha Baron Cohen was trying to do before he left the project. Creative differences.
Yep.
It makes me wonder if Terrence Winter left for that very same reason. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's interesting though, because in my notes that I did earlier this week, Hulu is also doing a limited series titled Iron Mike.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which and this is probably one of the worst endorsements you could get from the guy who you're doing a limited series about, Mike Tyson. He said on the Hulu series, this is unauthorized, tone-deaf, cultural misappropriation of my life story.
Okay.
Like, wow. But it seems like Hulu is moving forward, and you're also going to have this one with more prolific names. If you had to pick a streaming service, which one do you think would get this? Because this is definitely going to a streaming service.
Ah, man, we were talking about this before we came on, and you definitely hit it. It seems like it. I mean, HBO is the home of boxing, so it seems like it's prime for HBO.
HBO Max,
or HBO Max, right? Yeah. So I can't believe it would be anywhere else. But you did mention this connection that Scorsese has with Netflix.
Yeah, The Irishman.
Yeah, with The Irishman, and I think he's working on another one, right? I think this next DiCaprio film is going to be on. I think
that's on Apple.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
Killers of the Flower.
Yeah, right. Oh, Apple, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then HBO might be in play then, if he's working with different services. I mean, yeah. Because like I said, so much, all his fights were on HBO. Like, like that was his home. So I can't imagine they would tell that story anywhere else. So, but to your point about the content, like the actual how much of it is going to be, it's certainly valid. He's pretty open in his one-man show,
oh, okay.
So I think that it'll be a situation like I think about Straight Outta Compton, right, where they left some stuff out, right? Like clearly that story was and I was there, not there, but I was growing up with that.
You were there,
like I was there for the whole thing. I followed, I was an NWA fan. I followed them, and clearly that story was told from Dr. Dre and Ice Cube's point of view, right? And Eazy's a wife, estranged wife, right? Ex-wife, whatever she was. Like just knowing what I know of that story, like you could tell, like, okay, they're telling their side of that story. They left a lot of stuff, important stuff out. I'm not going to.
Dr. Dre had some controversy.
He absolutely, and they conveniently skipped over some of that. And really painted Eazy in a certain light that, I mean, some of it's fair and some of it, we didn't get his side of the story, but so there may be a little bit of that with this. Okay, we're gonna get Mike Tyson's point of view on some of this stuff, especially some of the more controversial stuff. Obviously, his relationship with Robin Gibbons, which was bizarre to say the least. And if you go on YouTube and watch that interview, which is a very strange interview, but
who's playing Don King?
Great question. And that's the stuff and so that's why, honestly, I'm glad they're doing a series, because there's so much, it's too much to do in a movie. Like it'd be another, even if you stretch it out and Scorsese involved, it's going to be 3 hours, but 3.5 hours. But even that's not enough, so much to tell. So many things with obviously Robin Gibbons, his rape conviction, is dealing with Don King.
1992, Don King.
His knockout, and his comeback from that, and just there's a lot to tell. So it's exciting, man. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll get more casting announcements as they continue to develop it.
Yeah.
But we'll see it. I think it has Emmys written all over it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.